Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our final series of today, CeX versus NEDS, after playing a quite close series against London Lynx. I'm Novi, and I'm joined by Yumi.
Yes, hello. It looks like we'll be getting straight into a pistol round here. NEDS just going straight onto the B site, but Casa will make them think twice and finds a nice kill onto Neil, but they have got the bomb down, and Ping will be the one to do that for them. But Emmy goes down on that rotation from Nuke Dog and very quickly into a 3 versus 5. A pretty beneficial retake for the CT side, as Frazier does have a kit and a smoke should he need them, but 2 frags go quickly back the way of the Neds. Ping getting 2 crucial kills, and JCMX on that flank as well. Ping does additional damage to Rezu, down to 1 HP. And now Frazier has it all to do with that kit in hand. He gets the kill onto Ping, but Mog positions himself fantastically for that trade. Things kicked off very quickly as we go into that pistol round.
Yeah, Ping stepping up absolutely huge, finding 3 kills in that round. That was looking really, although kind of good with getting the bomb down, it looked like CEX kind of had that in the bag with how many players that they had the manpower to do the retake and the flanks they were taking. But Ping just getting those headshots left, right, and center, dinking that last CT player as well, leaving him on 1 HP. But we will see a pause, so hopefully this will be sorted soon. We've been plagued with technical pauses.
Yep, it's something that's bound to happen at lands like this. But I question whether it might be a technical pause or maybe even just a little bit of time for CeX to sort of reflect. They were in a 5 versus 3, and the remaining Nets players were able to close out that round for them. They played a very passive B setup, and Nets seemed to call something that worked around that, surprisingly, as they put a heavy emphasis on taking connector control and middle.
And we'll be going into the second round. Full buys, of course, for the terrorists after winning that round. 2 AKs, the MAC-10s trying to take advantage of that lack of armor, trying to ping those heads in the hands of Emmy and Mog. You know this Ned squad quite well. Who's the players to look out for? So
the players on Neds that have really started to make a name for themselves, especially in the past 6 months, are JCMX, Emmy, and Mog. They're all players that have qualified for UKPL through the UK circuit, coming up through UKCL, and this team, at least that core, has qualified for main this season, or were progressed to main this season. And we'll see Emmy just sort of farm some frags with the MAC-10 in the meantime, but that will be all of the A-site presence for CeX, but there is a bit of a flank from Rezu over towards Long, and this could prove troublesome as Nile is moving over, and he is holding that flank, but might not be able to line up that kill. It does in the end, but takes a lot of damage in doing so. And this looks like an easy save call for the CeX side, as I think Nuke Dog will want to save that Scout and Casa. If he can get a weapon, that'll be fantastic, but saving armor is a lot more beneficial for him. Mog doesn't hear the footsteps, actually, and that's just the LAN environment for you. That's something that online, in a nice, quiet environment at home, you're definitely going to hear those footsteps as they chase behind you. But a second round on the board for Neds, and 2 kills go the way of Casa as well.
Nice situation Casa does, making the best out of a bad situation they found themselves in. Third round, economy slowly recovering CeX until they got a gun round again, going for the pistols. No armor apart from on Casa, who of course saved it from last round, has the MAC-10. But there is full head armor on all the terrorists, of course, so won't be hopefully any jumping headshots. And
you look at this fast B play coming out from Neds. They double mollied the barrels, a bit of miscommunication, but they certainly made sure that that wasn't going to be a factor coming into this site, and Emmy is going to continue getting kills with this MAC-10. Mog will chime in with one of his own as well, but Emmy's only survived on 4 HP, and so if Frazier is able to line up a nice shot onto Ping or JCMX, he could certainly go for this, but again, likely to set up for some sort of an exit and maybe able to recover an AK going into their first full buy when this round is concluded.
Yeah, they've got to think like 2 steps ahead on whether to save these weapons or not. Do they really want to pull the Scout into the next round? Or do they want to try the potential of an AK? Does tag J, but will go down to 12 HP and get out all right. It was just a 'Twas just a scratch, just a flesh wound.
Unfortunately, the people that have died on the side of NEDS, at least, are the people that have been farming kills with these SMGs. And so, yes, they have to reinvest into getting armor and utility, but and ultimately weapons, but it won't be too much of an economic hit as they were able to get that additional money bonus that the SMGs did provide. A little bit more of the same.
Yeah, Class B again, this time there's a bit of counterplay by the CTs, but Ping will trade back onto Rezu after he picks up a kill. Fraser is the player to watch, I feel, having dominating AWP performances during this LAN. Definitely to be feared with that weapon in mind. They should expect that weapon to be in his hands. But Terra's on such low HP. Casa taking down so many players. He's looking for the fourth. Maybe able to find it. There it is. And that's the 4K for Casa. Very nicely done. Well played. Playing around that pillar position. We'll see what the Terrace reactions is, but they have, as you said, because they had the SMGs for so long, they've built up a fair bit of economy, even though they were losing a couple players here and there during those rounds.
And it's important to note that although Casa gets credit for all of those kills there, Rezu's kind of the MVP of that round. He sprays down all of those players, forces them back. He sort of stops them from committing to that monster push early on. And as you said, all of those players that Casa had to fight were down to less than 20 HP apiece, and that's just one bullet for the M4 that is required to take them down. So hopefully things might stabilize for the CEX lineup, but
less utility but better weaponry this round. AWP in Emmy's hands.
Yeah, it's strange to me because Emmy is sort of a primary AWPer in a natural sense, but they actually quite often flip that AWP onto JCMX as well, or MOG if they're particularly interested in a particular map or a spot they want to play. And so I'd expect them to be able to move that AWP around, and instead of it having it be a committed weapon to a certain player, having it be committed to certain spots with ideas going into each of these rounds. So they do lose a player into MOG, and Frazier was the one to pick that one up, but it looks like they're going to sit behind the smoke and essentially go for something of an XP onto the side, but JCMX gets spotted out on that boost, and Ping will be able to escape with his life, but the jig is kind of up. I feel like the CX lineup have a strong idea as to what these NEDS players are wanting to do, as Rezu will try to re-aggress, but unable to take down the AWP in the hands of Emmy.
And Emmy rotates back up to toilets. Player also pushing down long at the same time. Maybe able to catch the CT, or the CT might catch them if they don't realize that a player might be that far back. He's pushing through. We'll find a kill onto Emmy. Liam is stuck between a rock and a hard place, will eventually fall 2v2. Player in the dumpster position. CTs haven't quite rotated up. Bomb will start being planted.
I think he has it.
It's too late. CX will win the round. Sort of that player having the patience to sit in toilets as the two NEDS players pushed either side of A. That kind of won them the round. It stalled them long enough to deny the execution of their plan.
Well, as well, the bullet tagging from taking that gunfight, I think Ping went down to 20 HP, so after sustaining so many of those bullets, you move at almost a snail's pace after that gunfight has ended. So it literally came down to those closer margins as Nile was able to sort of take that site. But while we were on that, I was on that a bit of a spiel. JCMX does go down.
And it's the tag as well. He got the collateral, so Neil took a huge portion of that damage. Very nice shot by Fraser. We'll see what the terrorists can do in answer, in reply to that. Nuke Dog getting boosted up again. Checking, there's a player just to his right. Finds Mog first as Mog opens up connector.
And unfortunately, NEDS are taking things slow, but they can't take things too slow, as just in the last round they got defaulted in that round. But Emmy will try to make a case of it, gets the first kill, but unable to get anything more. And Ping does his best, gets 2 kills on the B site, but those rotations already came out from the CX players, and they were all committed to that B site.
Yeah, Ping stepping up big, finding those frags, but it just doesn't seem enough. CX, of any early game jitters have gone, and they're relaxing comfortably into the CT side and overpass. First time we've seen NEDS on the back foot when it comes to economy-wise and buy. They might be about to be sprayed down by Liam, but Liam makes a smart decision of backing up just beforehand. Bomb goes down through the smoke. Reloads his weapon and calls for rotation. Doesn't quite get the double spray down, sorry, but will end up getting 3 kills before he falls. Ping is left once again on his own. Do you think it looks like he's going to go for it or try and at least try and Nuke Dog goes on very low health, but it's not enough. Nuke Dog tanks a bit of damage, but he's fine.
Things get really dangerous. Ping is one of those players that sort of comes in and out. Like in these past 2 series I've been watching this, Ping is in the previous side of the bracket has been pretty quiet in some of these games, but in these recent matches, he's screaming, he's yelling, he's getting up, and it's hyping up the rest of the team. And so if he can really get going, it brings up the sort of momentum, or at least the energy for this net side. And I'd love to see that play a factor, as Ping is sitting currently on 8 frags, the highest on the net side. And we will see them take a little bit of a different approach in this round. Not overcommitting over towards B and making that decision, but Frazier is getting these picks with the AWP so consistently now. He's had singular AWP picks 3 or 4 rounds in a row now.
Yeah, every time he's in his hands, someone dies. It's one of the commandments of CSGO, it seems, for this tournament, is that AWP's in Fraser's hand, people die. And we'll see if he can repeat that in this round, finding even more kills. He's already found 1. But terrorists are still gearing around A. Bomb rotating around toilets J. Pushed quite fairly far up on A long, will eventually try and peek the corner once his teammates wait for the smoke to clear. They've got to be careful. Mog isn't on a lot of HP. I'd like to see him use this utility beforehand, as he is at such a risk of getting just pinged off by a couple of M4 shots. Utility starting to be thrown out. See the push onto the site. Nuke Dog gets the first, and Jay Fraser picks up Ping. Nuke Dog gets 2, but will taken down by Emmy, and Emmy is on his own. 1 versus 3. Sees where Fraser is. Whiffs the shot completely and gets taken out by the USB. Insult to injury.
Yeah, that's one of those shots that Emmy hasn't completely lined up, but maybe just moving a little bit as he decides to take that shot. It will be one of those situations where you look back on it and just think, how have I not hit him there? But ultimately, Frazier had a huge impact in that round, able to get those picks consistently, stay alive, and they even Molotov'd the position that he was holding with that AWP off in the first instance, but he pushed in front of it to still have impact in that round. So we do see now that NEDS have instead opted to force into some of these pistols. They do have enough money in the bank to then buy in the next one, as they are now sitting on a comfortable sort of lost money bonus. But one of the important things they need to do is start losing the AWP for the CEX side, as if Frazier's allowed to continue to have it, I don't see him stopping having that much impact in these rounds.
Yeah, he's like a rolling stone. He's not going to stop anytime soon. And the terror side of NEDS need to come up with an answer if they want to stand a chance of picking up any more rounds in the CT side. Quick rotation round to B. Looks like they're going to execute that way. 50 seconds left on the clock. Defensive smoke's going down by the CT side to stop any fast pushes.
CEX are a bit scared here because they haven't really pushed anywhere. They're not sure whether NEDS would buy in this sort of situation. And Cass is already put down to extremely low HP. He gets finished off by the knife of Ping, but Frazier continues to get 1 kill with that ult every single time. And the retake is coming out in full effect from the CEX side. Nuke Dog gets 2, Frazier gets 2.
They got the nice, that's fine.
Yeah,
Everything's good.
It's somewhat justified, the round going that way, so long as Ping is sort of feeling it.
Yeah, definitely. So that's probably I think that's the first knife kill we've seen.
As far as I'm aware,
yeah.
That'll be the
I don't know. It's probably happened in some of the other games, but the ones we casted, that's the first one. I have no idea how he got in there. He just bolted straight onto site. Double AWP setup though. This is the adaptions we're starting to see from the terrorist side. We'll see if this can deal with Fraser, or at least get the man advantage at the beginning of the round, so they can try and catch this Goliath of an AWPer out later on during this 10th round. Ping playing very close up canal. Neil expecting the rotations. Rezu pushed really far up. I'm loving this map control by CEX. They've got full control over the A site. Terrace cannot rotate. They have to commit to B, which means they're going to funnel them in. Newdog finds the first. Cass gets the second ball, get traded off by Neil. Ping throws a flash, sorry. Fies Newdog, he's just on fire this game. That's the kind of trade they need. Takes the AWP out of Fraser's hands. Liam does pick it up. See if he can be as successful as some of the players, but Rezu's behind! Snuck up out of nowhere, finds the double, and will defuse. They weren't respecting the potential of a player rotating that fast from the CTs, from the T side, sorry.
Yeah, so you highlighted it very early early on in the round that Rezu had pushed so far into middle, and that allowed them to play 3 people over towards the B side. Yes, they do let them get the bomb plant down, but because of that advanced position, Rezu's on a very fast flank, and so he's telling his teammates, do not peek. I have the opportunity to make a play here, and he pulls it out in full force, getting both of those kills on the retake, and that's one of those rounds that could potentially start to tilt the NEDS side as definitely winnable if they could even consider the flank.
Yeah, it's those sort of plays which are, as you said, the most tilting ones. Whiffing the shots, it's like, that was, you know, that's something I can definitely improve on, but just being completely mind-gamed by the other team can just catch you so, like, play and mess with your head so bad. Hopefully, NEDS can get their minds back into gear, get their minds on track. We're seeing more split up so they can get a bit more map control, which is vital for this map. CTs are backing off, although they do have control over A-Long, but Toilets is pretty much clear. So if they can push into this area, but Ping with a lovely entry onto Casa. Fraser is backing off with that AWP, rotating around to Heaven. But T's are also rotating to this B side. Maybe they're hoping that the entry was a sort of fake that they can. The CTs might rotate off, but it's not gonna go out that way. Rezu does find Neil after Neil gets that Nuke Dog. Finds Ping as well, and it's a 3v3. For this position, Fraser's still picking off. Oh, what an angle! Takes down Mog, and that was all she wrote. NEDS falling again. Still, just they don't have an answer to the CT hold of CEX.
Yeah, and if you look at their economy, it's not fantastic. This is one of those decisions that someone has to sort of bite the bullet and just make a hard call, because they are on max lost money bonus. So if they do lose this one, I would imagine they just invest into pistol armor. But instead of getting more utility and potentially using this round as that sort of half buy, allowing them to get utility into the next one, they want to break the momentum of CEX right now if they can do it. And JCMX, he will be upset that he's been ult by Fraser yet again, but it's one of those things where they now have information as to where Fraser is with that AWP. Not posted anywhere near the B side, and Nile will actually make things a little bit interesting over towards A as the rotations start to come out for the CT side. One of these players rotating through Bank, and that will be Nuke Dog as the hit now begins to come out. The flashes will blind Mog and Fraser, but supporting flashes by these rotating players are so critical as they have no idea where any of these players are. Fraser does eventually go down. Is Ping to find that one as well. So hot in this game so far, and Mog coming out with a huge play over the top of those smoke that gets both of those kills. And Ping will finish things off, maintaining his form. Great individual plays by both of those players to find those entries onto the site.
And this is a great sign that they haven't been shaken up by the discrepancies in some of the rounds so far. Still, I don't think they did have the money to possibly buy an AWP, but it was mean Jay wouldn't have an armor, so they're sticking to the AKs this round. So Fraser will have be unmatched in the sniper battles, being on his lonesome, but hopefully the AKs can find some kind of opening and won't just walk into the scopes of Fraser waiting, sitting with 13 kills.
This is one of those rounds where if CEX lose this, suddenly NEDS have an opportunity to get more of a lead going into the second half. CEX are definitely a team that are practiced and have at least ironed out some of these kinks, and so they won't have that sort of tilt forced by or really make their economy situation poor in the last round of this half. But we do see that the NEDS side have taken a lot of control over towards the A side. It seems like CeX are comfortable to give this up. As Frazier has been able to consistently get picks with that AWP, they don't see it as a terrible mark of pressure, but despite that, Liam aggresses into toilets and gets punished by Emmy. There were 3 terrorists lying in wait, and Emmy will continue his charge onto the A-bomb site, sorry. And quickly into a 2 versus 4, and they're already calling to save.
Yeah, and Fraser didn't find that first shot, so gave the rest of the terrorists the exact information of where he was. So you could just line up that shot and take it as soon as he peeked around the corner to pick on the players rushing onto the site. Very nicely done by NEDS. Will be picking up their 5th round. And if we look at their economic situation of the CTs, it's not looking too great, actually. So definitely want to save these weapons. Terrorists are kind of hunting for them. But again, they themselves don't want to lose too much at this point. So early on with their economy just starting to get rolling.
Yeah, so it does seem like one of these NEDS players may go down. Ping is just sort of buzzing about, surfing on the ramps and seeing what he could, if he could find those players, and he did find them, but not within his crosshairs. And ultimately, the CEX boys will keep those M4s in hand, and so expect these players to try and make a play amongst themselves and really play off one another with a few supporting players to either lie in wait as sort of a backup M4 so they can recover the fallen weapon, or to bait those M4s so that they can get openings.
Ooh, bounce off the train. Yeah, getting flashbacks from that, was it Nothing's Molotov?
Yeah, people have been complaining about that train for so long.
Yeah.
They've changed the timing. They've changed the timings on them. I cannot speak. But a 1-for-1 exchange. One of those.
Backs off very nicely played by him. Now will fall Mog.
But they've recovered these rifles. So Mog is being pressured heavily by Rezu. Will fall in the end, but it seems like Ping is going to be in a good enough position to get that trade, and trade he will, but he has the bomb, so he needs to escape, or else things get really awkward for Emmy. 20 HP on him, and this is one of those rounds where this shouldn't be happening. I think this is something that I covered with B Magic in that, or it was either, yeah, CX are just good on these pistol rounds, or on these weird buys, and they have good setups to sort of utilize the limited utility that they have, and Cass is in such a good spot here. I doubt he loses this gunfight, and the shadows will help him out. Casa with a huge 3k, Rezu also getting a 2k, and those are the 2 M4s that they saved in the previous round, having massive impact.
And it's the final round of the half. Not the best buy coming out for the AKs. AWP will be picked up. The Mog, who had some success with it in that round, but it was too little too late by that point. Ping ended up getting caught out with the bomb in the open. Emmy with just the CZ as well. Walking into the barrel of all those M4s, the AK and the AWP. If Fraser gets that early pick again, Jay being so careful. They're really checking their ankles now. After that CT aggression of pushing all the way round, they can't afford to leave any avenue open where they can sneak through. But we're seeing 3 terrorists go all the way to A long. 4 now with the bomb, but it looks like they're rotating back round. And Mog is on his lonesome with the AWP.
And look at how CEX are playing. They're not using any of their utility early on. Quite often you see teams just blow their utility, especially these smokes. They're holding on to every single one of them, and as the time winds down, because they haven't shown any sort of set plays going into these sites, they're comfortable to hold on to these Molotovs and potentially use them to delay the aggression from these terrorists and slow things down. Seems like Liam did actually use his smoke to stop the terrorists from pushing up long as well, but that's one of those smokes that allows them to get a lot further up than he might expect, in a singular flash just completely own him going into the site.
But there's the Molotov we talked about, delaying that position as he gets the information. Fraser, a rare whiff for him. Straight onto the site with Ping. Ping taking down Fraser after they get Jay. Casa, Rezu does survive 1 versus 3. Final round. Oh almost finds Emmy. But will eventually fall, and that'll be a 9-6 half. Fairly close after the dominating middle section that CEX had. NEDS really started to turn that round towards the end of the half.
Yeah, as soon as they got that ult on Frazier, they didn't really know how to respond. It took them 7 rounds to even take him down and make things even a decent context entering these sites. And we'll see if Frazier is able to continue that sort of impact with the AWP going into their T side, or whether Emmy will sort of take up that role that Frazier showed on their CT side and shut things out, as I expect Emmy, being a pretty CT-sided ulper, will likely do. So this is something we saw CEX do in a previous game where they just wait for that 30-second mark or 1 minute 30-second mark to then push out of into middle. As you saw Ping, he sort of checked everything and he didn't see anything for about 10 to 15 seconds, and he's called everything's clear. But as he turned around, it kind of gave things away for CEX. They shot a singular bullet, seeing his head, or at least the back of his head, as he started to rotate. But they're going now towards the B-bomb site.
It'll be up to the players who are anchored to the site. Smoke goes out towards Heaven. Ping will join his teammates, Emmy and Niall, in his position. Refiring the angle, bomb will go down. 250. Ooh, lovely headshot. 2 headshots in a row.
Oh
Nuke Dog
my lord.
been absolute monsters. Denying these CTs. Finds the third. He's looking for the 4th headshot. Don't know if he can find it. 2 versus 2. Nuke Dog sitting on a 3K already. Hunting for those remaining CT players. We'll be patient. We'll wait for the bomb. No, going for the defuse, but Resu takes him down. Nuke Dog finds the 4th. Not a headshot, but he'll be happy with that. And CEX will win the pistol round.
Nuke Dog has gone absolutely nuclear with that P250. He's gotten those 2 swift one-taps, and those are the type of things you start sort of scratching your head about, like, what could I have done to prevent that type of engagement? He just hits really crisp, clean shots, and it really opened things up for CEX down to the 2-on-2, and yeah, he gets that 4K on the pistol round, so a really good start for CEX in this.
The response for the CTs is a scout onto J. Small bit of armor, Niall and Ping and Mog, but then CZs and then the P250 for Emmy. I presume Emmy is most likely saving as much of his money as possible going into the coming round. Seeing very aggressive hold, 4 players holding around A, but won't see any information. The teaser instead gripping fairly far back, waiting, but Niall takes down Resu, and that's the opening kill for the NEDS side. Backs off, back onto site as he is on his line, but still no rotation from the CTs. I was about to say, is Jay about to rotate, but no, he just falls back in position, still waiting to see if the terrorists have been put off marching onto that site, but that's Niall falling down, and they will be pushing onto the site.
Yeah, Niall getting that first entry. The NEDS side were definitely expecting that maybe CEX might reconsider going over towards the B-bomb site, as he should have been able to recover that AK. At least he had the opportunity to, but he played it safe instead. But JCMX is having huge impact with the scout that he's brought into this round, and very quickly into a 4 versus 2. Liam needs to go absolutely huge here to stop this aggression from the NEDS side, and Emmy will reconsider pushing through that smoke with Ping, but spotted up on radar, and things fall apart very quickly. Mog unable to close things out, and the round is saved by Nuke Dog and Liam.
Yeah, Jay was trying to repeat what Nuke Dog did last round, just pinging off heads, but Nuke Dog had enough and decided to shut any dreams NEDS had of winning that round down. Nothing but apart from one singular flash for Ping into this round.
And this actually could work, as if they time the flash time right, then they can catch up to CEX players, but it has to be in the right position as they start pushing past playground and in towards long. They do get an engagement. Frazier will get 2, but it's onto a 3-on-3 engagement, and if they can recover some of these weapons, maybe it becomes a little bit more interesting. But the CEX squad know that the A site should be open for business, and may be able to turn around and get 1 or 2 more kills should these NEDS players come. But it seems like they've actually committed down towards the B site, Emmy in a great position to maybe catch one of these players out. Nuke Dog will go run straight past him, but he whiffs the first few shots. Ends up getting the headshot, however, and he recovers that AK-47. And this becomes so difficult now. Liam has to worry about 2 angles of aggression for the CT side. NEDS able to recover those weapons.
Oh my god! What was that? What a shot by Liam! I was about to say, Ned's played that so well, timing their engages on either side. And we're just waiting and playing with Liam, but Liam just with that flick. Beautiful shot. We'll get the bomb down onto A, and we're left in a 1v1. Superior weaponry is on Emmy. But Emmy has pretty far to go. No kit as well, so keep that in mind.
And it is important that Emmy, while he was walking through CT, did actually hear where Liam was going. So he knows that he has that, like a fantastic post-plant position, but he has to win this engagement very early on. Liam knows that he probably doesn't have a kit. They expected them to save into this round. And Emmy should start to go and save this weapon. So a really good effort from the NEDS side, taking a lot of weapons out of the hands of CeX. And if he's able to save this AK as well, that will just help improve their economy. But things got very, very scary. And Liam, with that swift 180 that you talked about, came in clutch, especially in this round.
Yeah, I was going to say, despite CeX winning the round, that should not have gone the way it went. But Liam just stepped up huge, going absolutely massive, and managed to clutch that out for his team. Double AWP setup, though, for the CTs on Emmy and Jay. Mog not AWPing on the CT side this time. As you said, they've got multiple AWPers within this squad, and finds Emmy before Emmy can do anything. The T's are stacking up by this Molotov. Might be cooked terrorists, but they take a bit of damage, but they will get onto the site. Rezu taking down Mog. Now also falls, and it's down to Ping and Jay. Try and go for this retake. Although the bomb hasn't gone down, I think they're so worried for Ping pointing behind, but Ping falls. And we should see the bomb going down now. Nuke Dog will plant. Jay will most likely, I would imagine, save or at least go for exits.
Yeah, he's kind of poking and prodding to see if any of these terrorists are pushing, expecting that he would save. And if he does get that opening engagement, then maybe he would then consider going for this retake. But getting spammed out, he sort of turned to the wood like, "Are you serious? Is that really what you're doing to me right now?" And instead, he will opt to save, but it does look like Frazier is on the hunt. And if he catches JCMX out with that jump spot, I think Jay did spot him, and that will be a kill going the way of Jay's stat line. And the remaining CeX players are nowhere near to contest this. NEDS will save an AWP, but CeX are on a 13th round.
Yeah, we're getting into the danger zone where they can start going for that game point in this series. NEDS, despite looking fairly good in the T side, just haven't shown up on CT, losing all 4 rounds so far, and CeX have been in the driver's seat. No AWP for Fraser though, for AKs. Jade not able to find a shot. These AWPs are just not working out for side. Finally finds kill, but at what cost? Sitting on 19 HP now, surrounded by a bunch of people with pistols. May want to chuck it to a different player. And yeah, that's exactly what happens. Ping will then pick up the AWP. See if he can. It's like a AWP roulette. They're sort of just throwing it around and seeing who can just find the shots. Looks like Ping isn't lucky today.
It's kind of like, toss it over, it's your turn now. I've had my impact. Everybody's going to get an AWP kill this round, but Ping hasn't delivered, and JCMX will eventually go down. So it's good that he did make that swap, as he wants to continue to play aggressive, but Ping on that more healthy HP will not be able to land a shot, and they don't have any information over towards A. I think I spoke to B Magic about how important connector control is for the terrorist side, as it allows you to quickly rotate between these 2 bomb sites, and it's all going to land now to get these frags, but not able to do so. He's in such a good position to deal with it if he got that headshot fast enough. And it's now Ping and Mog in a 2 versus 3. Mog will go down, and Ping with that AWP will start burning alive. I think he took the nade damage as well, so even if he wanted to escape fast enough, his movement speed was reduced enough that the Flames do eventually take him down. So
The hard crowd control of the frag grenades coming into play, surprisingly. Double AWP setup, this will be possibly the break point for NEDS with the economic situation they're in if they do lose this round. This is kind of a must win. See if Emmy and Mog will find their shots. First AWP fired, but it will not connect. Casa going low to the frag grenade. Peeking for the information, but the force around back position. Smoke goes down to counter any damage. CTs rotate. Bomb is down. Smoke goes in, and the utility held so because the terrorists move so fast. It makes all their utility to just block any of these angles out, forcing CT right into the jaws of CeX, and that's exactly what happened. Exploding. 3 players from NEDS falling. Emmy finding the only reply. Both AWPs are left, and it looks like they're going to save these weapons and they're just forced to play for overtime.
yeah, unfortunately, CEX moved now onto map point, and based on what we've seen on NED's T side, there's no reason to believe that they would get 9 rounds in a row to force an OT. But I have been wrong about things like that before. We did see a lot of, quite a few overtimes on Overpass not too long ago, just about a series before, yeah, just a series before this, or sorry, 2 series before this. But we'll see if these ults that were saved have any impact, and Emmy finds that first pick onto Casa, but they're going to continue pushing. He gets the follow-up headshot onto Rezu, but Liam will take him down, so that is the ult dropped, but you'd like to think that Emmy has had enough impact that they will continue to win this round. Mog, with the AWP in hand, will find one of his own and gets a second as well, so both of these ults good for 2. As Frazier now left alone in the 1 versus 3, does get dinked by this FAMAS on Nile. Things get very interesting as he's on 4 HP, and they should be able to recover that ult and recover an AK in hands of that FAMAS.
Yeah, with the coordination of the players when, like in that situation, rather than going in one at a time, they sort of juggle the aggro onto the enemy player very nicely. It's just landing the shot seems to be the main issue for the team, but that time Emmy, 2 beautiful shots for the AWP, and Mog as well, and it just opens up the round, but it might be too little too late at this point. Zero is in, Casa takes him down, takes down Mog as well. Not before Mog takes down Nuke Dog. Nuke Dog. Rezu takes down Ping, and this is looking dire for NEDS. 2 versus 4, and Bomb will go down.
Yeah, so Emmy and Jay are going to try their best to get them in these opening picks, and they need to move rather quickly, but off camera, JCMX will go down, leaves it now all onto Emmy. AWP in hand, he does have a kit, he does have utility to use, but he's not able to land these shots, and I think this is where CeX take it. I think I'll just barely be right in doing so. I called it about 5 seconds early, so good on me.